What's up everybody, it's RobinGaming here. So I promised a couple more Uncharted 4 videos, and next week I'll be talking pretty much a little bit more about the story and all the stuff that has been going on with, you know, Drake's brother and stuff, what that is all supposed to mean. But today I'll probably talk about what is going to be the saddest story, at least to me personally, because right after the gameplay reveal, the PlayStation Experience event, which was I think now 1 to 2 weeks back already, pretty crazy how quickly like the time flies and stuff. But yeah, somebody like tweeted Bruce Trailey, the game director of Uncharted 4, and asked who did the music in the demo and who is going to be actually doing the music in the actual game itself. And Bruce Trailey replied that Uncharted 4 will have a new music composer who is called Henry Jackman. Now Henry Jackman is actually quite a known music composer, not for like the biggest films you know, in the world or whatever. He did however help Hans Zimmer on stuff like Batman the Dark Knight and on Pirates of the Caribbean, but movies that he did himself are, for example, some of the Captain America movies, and also Man on a Ledge is a film that I've personally seen, so that's where I kind of like, you know him from, at least music wise. But it is kind of like a weird thing. It's something that actually disappointed me a little bit to hear that, because Greg Edmonson, who did the music in all the three, you know, previous Uncharted games on the PlayStation 3, he did such an amazing job, and I think he actually received awards for his music. And I still remember the days when those games came out, and I used to talk with my good friend Sando, who some of you might know from, you know, videos that I did back in the days, pretty much, you know, 1 to 2 years back already. Yeah, we used to really love the Uncharted soundtrack. It's something that I still remember, just like sometimes listening to it in my spare time, because I enjoyed it so much. You know, it was just so good. There was like a lot of variety to it, and I think where, you know, in the first game the music wasn't that, you know, it didn't stand out that much yet, but in the second and the third game is really where he proved himself with some super emotional tracks, but also these kind of bombastic, you know, songs. And like I said, there was so much variety there, and I think he did an absolutely amazing job at the soundtrack in all the three main Uncharted games on the PlayStation 3. And then it's weird to hear now that he is not going to be doing the music for Uncharted 4. And it really makes me wonder, why exactly is that the case? You know, what happened here? Did Naughty Dog actually just like not ask him to come back for Uncharted 4? And then why not? Because once again, the music he made was terrific, was fantastic, you know. He did a really good job there. At the same time, what it makes me wonder is maybe he decided to quit himself. But then the question is, why exactly did he decide to do that? And I think pretty much what I've seen is that in a couple of interviews that you can find on YouTube, you know, with this guy, with Greg Edmonson, he is very clear that, you know, he speaks super highly of Amy Hennig, who was obviously the creative director on all the, you know, 3 Uncharted games. And of course, she was forced out of the company. That's pretty clear by now, you know, that whole debacle that went on, I think it was April of this year. Yeah, he spoke very highly of her in all of those interviews, and that, you know, she did an amazing job writing the story for these games. And I think, you know, it might have been very well that he wasn't very happy with everything that happened there, with that whole situation, with her being forced out, and with you know, the whole argument that has probably been going on in the studio, that he was like, okay, well, screw it, then I'm not gonna be making the music anymore for the 4th Uncharted game either. And I mean, once again, it's all speculation, it's all guessing. There is no actual explanation here. Greg Edmonson hasn't come out and said why exactly he is not going to be returning, and neither has Bruce Trailey or Neil Druckmann or like anybody at Naughty Dog. But it does kind of like leave the question of why exactly was this the case. And look, I am sure that with Henry Jackman, you know, the new composer for Uncharted 4, I am sure that the series, that the franchise or the game just itself is still in very good hands, and that the music is once again going to be great. But at the same time, why exactly did Greg Edmonson need to be, you know, skipped out on or whatever? You know, why did he not return for this 4th game? He did an absolutely amazing job with the 3 other games. Yeah, once again, the soundtrack, man, I've used them so many times, some of these songs, in my actual own videos, because I was such a fan of them, that I am actually quite sad that he is not going to be returning. And I'll say it one more time, I think the series is in good hands. At the same time, I do kind of like have my doubts whether Henry Jackman is gonna be able to to kind of like live up to all the expectations I have related to the Uncharted soundtrack, because you know, the soundtrack industry, all the games was so amazing, and I wonder if he can do just as good of a job, but I sure hope so. But yeah, with that being said, of course, I would like to know from you in the comments, why do you think that Greg Edmonson will not be returning for the music in Uncharted 4, and do you think that Henry Jackman will be able to do just as good of a job here? And then yeah, with that being said, tomorrow I'll actually be uploading my new version of the top 25 PS4 games. It's gonna be really awesome, put a lot of effort into it, and I hope I'll be able to finish it before then, but I'm pretty sure I will. And then yeah, I'd like to thank you a lot for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.